OneMore. I am your host, Brian Erickson. Each week we bring in 2 new guests. We sit them down on the corduroy couch and we figure out why they do what they do. This week is no exception. We have singer and songwriter and multi-instrumentalist Joey Henderson, as well as a 3-piece band from Trenton that changes instruments sometimes mid-song. Alpha Rabbit. But first, and as always, Chris Dubrow.
Mr. Erickson, how you doing, sir?
Very well.
How are
Very
things?
well. You were like bracing.
I was so pumped for
like an intro.
I was hoping that you would like
founder of the early 2000s rap rock movement.
That was me,
Chris
yeah.
Dubrow.
Would it be founder or guilty of? Like, what would you call?
Founder.
Okay,
Founder.
sure, yeah.
Founder.
I mean, I think that like music is truly missing white guys yelling over crappy sludge metal. I think that's really what went away and needs to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not like hip hop and R&B are
What's that?
innovating new parts of genre and things like that. It's not like great albums come out of there. Like, we really need more sludgy white guys from like Detroit.
Yeah, that's the new. That's what's in these days. That's what's hip. That's what's getting on the Spotify plays. How you doing? How's your weekend? What'd you do? What were you up to? What'd you do? Hamana?
No, this was a good weekend.
That was a good weekend. What happened?
Well, there was I ran a show at John and Peters.
How was that? Who played on that?
That was Lowlight. That was Brian Rothenbeck and the Adventuring Party. That was I don't know. That was Levy and the Oaks and Natalie Farrell.
Oh, my Oak boys.
Yeah,
I love those boys.
It was like half the guests on the show.
I feel like you get a lot of Lowlight out there. You bring them out a bunch.
Well, they like it. They ask. Like,
yeah, I
they
mean
ask
it's
to play there. They want to.
It's an amazing room.
People are now in that area. Like they come to see Lowlight. Like,
yeah, well, anyone comes to see Lowlight.
But it's one of those things where when a band is actually good. And then you read about them 20 years from now, it's like, oh yeah, they just started playing this place, and more people started showing up. And I read that and I go, wow, how do you get that? And then you realize, like, oh, you actually have to be, good.
Yeah, I never got that.
And then Lowlight, you see it where it's like, oh yeah, well, there were some randos there, and then the next month, those random people were there for Lowlight, and then the month after, they brought friends, and that's how a band that's actually good becomes successul.
Now, how do you think a band gets to be this so-called good that you keep referring to?
I think they have to practice. I'm trying to think of the things that Lowlight
Joey, are you writing
do well.
this down?
Like, I think they need to practice. They need to. What's the other thing? They write good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to write good songs. They got to have somebody that is a good, at least one or two good songwriters.
Cool hats. I think that's important.
Of which Lowlight has in spades.
Yeah, Lowlight's got many cool hats.
At least 2 cool hats going at all times. Sometimes 3.
If we're lucky.
4.
If we're lucky, we get 4 hats.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray, the bassist, he's the only one that doesn't wear a hat.
Well, hey, Ray, step up your hat game, bro.
No, don't do that.
Don't yell at Ray.
No, because he's got the hair that's really good.
He's a good guy. I like Ray.
He's a really good guy.
Anyway.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I was recording all weekend. So.
I saw that on last week's episode of Waking Up Chris Dubrow.
Yes. So I am an unwilling participant in a show called Waking Up Chris.
You know what? I saw that. And I said, you know who that looks like?
Who does that
looks
look
like a man who's been acquitted
of
the alleged murder.
The murder was alleged. It didn't actually happen. As the bass player, this really great thing happens where you're basically unnecessary, especially when it comes to recording. Like they're not recording me. So I was mostly just playing Nintendo Switch for the whole weekend. It was a good time for me. I don't know how my band's doing. We're gonna find out later tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, because Joey is.
Who's that?
Isn't he part of the Burns, or like is he the guy that drives the van?
Joe
for them.
Not ringing a bell. Can't say that he is.
Well, it's you. It's Fern.
It's Bono.
Billy McCabe, whose birthday is this Friday.
He's coming up. The Edge is playing lead guitar, of course.
Yeah, and you have what's his face from the Arcade Fire, the Butler brothers.
What's his face? The Butler brothers.
They are Will and Win Butler.
I wouldn't know. I don't know Arcade Fire at all, and I feel like I should.
And former, you actually have a cutout of the of late Weezer bassist Mikey Welsh.
Mikey,
just, like,
yes,
propped
rest in
up.
peace. He predicted his own death.
Did
Did you
he?
hear about that? He tweeted it like a week before it happened. It was very weird. I don't think we talked about that enough.
We have not unpacked.
Like, that's a weird thing
that
happened on Twitter, that the ex-bass player for Weezer called his own death. But hey, what do we know?
Stranger things have happened.
And Stranger Things is on Netflix. Check it out.
And now he's in your band.
Yeah,
sort
we
of.
got him. We used a Ouija board, a Welshie board. That's all I got right now.
2, 3, 4.
All right, bring on the first guest before I start sweating.
All right. Let's bring up our first guest, Joey Henderson.
Joey! Don't trip. Yeah. No, you should walk onto the...
Where'd he go? There he is.
Hey, Joe. Oh, hey, Joe.
Hey, how are you?
Good
Good to see you.
Hey, man, Joe Henderson.
Nice to meet you. Do you want to be in a band together?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. I'll just hang out.
What? Well, it's like what it is. It's like a roller coaster. Like we require.
Oh,
either,
it's like the safety
bar,
things.
the safety bar. Yeah.
I cheated past the thing though. I was always so short.
Did you? Did you ever fall off or out of the car of a roller coaster?
Yes.
No, no.
Talks the way he does.
I-
You idiot.
So how'd we get here?
What went wrong?
How'd we get here? Because the Burns is a band that's made up of 4 people that have been burned by other bands. Is it not? Sort of. I think that's how you explained it to me once.
That's accurate. I would say in some extent.
Okay.
Yeah. Like-minded musicians who are seeking to pursue a career in music. Full bore, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the things I find pretty remarkable about this group is everybody is very emotionally invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't seem like it's, Joey and the fellas. It's just each of the 4 of you seem to have bought into it pretty completely.
After every rehearsal, I take about 5 minutes. I bring out the Switch. I bend them all.
The Nintendo Switch.
No, not.
The
Well,
Nintendo
yes,
Switch.
I say that. Chris gets excited, but it's really not the Nintendo Switch. And we all just no. It's really
Well, how does that feel though? So I assume, everybody is in other projects or late of other projects. How does it feel to know that each of your band members, each of your bandmates, everyone's pretty much on the same page with where they expect this band to go, where they want to take it? Like, what's that? How's that feel?
Do you want to play bass in a band? We're still looking for a bass player,
Yeah,
but
I know.
outside of that, I'd say that the feeling of having that is something that I guess the only way to explain it would be if you were to ever see us play live, because that is the best explanation of how that feels.
Yeah. Well, because there's a real sense of joy
Oh yeah.
that I think gets conveyed that is palpable. Like when you go see the Burns live, there's definitely a joy kind of being projected. It's a really good. You establish a really good relationship from the band to the audience, and I guess how calculated is that, and or how organic is that? Like, how did that just sort of happen, or did you guys sort of sit down and say, hey, look, this is part of our set of goals, like we want to write music that really resonates with people, we want to project something positive out to people, or has it happened just
I think it's
as
been
a
one of
result
those
of-
just cosmic things that happened. I'd met Fernie and we had started a project, and it was a little too open-ended for my liking at the times. Like, he likes collaborating with a whole bunch of people, and I always had this idea of just collecting in a room like a set roster, and like this is going to be the group that goes for it, which turned into the Foes of Fern, and his record is fantastic. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, he has got the I already he sent me the next single.
yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And then through that whole process is when I started hanging out at the Firehouse again and reconnected with Longboy, Chris DeBrow over here. Chris DeBrow. And then Billy McCabe, it was just happening by chance. You know, remarkably enough, as much as I have started growing accustomed to being known as a live sound engineer, I hadn't before starting this group actually reaped the benefits of getting to know so many players in the area. So once I heard that Billy McCabe was no longer consistent with the group, I was like, Bill, what are you doing?
Scoop him up, right?
I was like, you want to have a casual jam slash? And he was like, oh, yeah, we'll just like jam or whatever. And I was like, yeah, slash like be in a band forever. So, yeah, it worked out.
Because I mean, there's bands on top of bands in this area. Which is
a beautiful thing.
But there's so few bands that approach their aesthetic like a gang, like a group of people. Like, it's kind of appropriate that you know, when you walk into a room, you're like, hey, gang. You know, but the Burns to me seems like a gang, like a group of people that even when you're not in practice or performing or recording, that you're spending time together anyway because that's who you'd be hanging out with, even without the music, to kind of put you in the room.
100%. It's a beautiful thing, and I couldn't thank the guys enough for all the work they put in.
I hate Fern.
How important is it for you to convey that image of togetherness out to people who are paying attention to you now?
We don't at all.
You don't? So
we just kind of, it's like a very natural thing.
But when you guys show up all wearing the same outfits, that just happens. Like, that just
See, there have been many a production meeting as of late that like maybe we should move away from the costumes, and then we kind of have been backing off a little bit.
Okay. And then we think of a dumb costume and we do it.
Exactly.
But even if it's something like the four of you, maybe not even, you know, I was very flattered that one time everybody came out wearing red pants and a white shirt.
If it's a red pants
black jacket optional.
Yep.
But even something more simple like, hey, let's all wear band T-shirts, and someone's wearing their Avery shirt, someone's wearing their Levy shirt, someone's wearing a low light shirt, and it's just, you know, whatever else you're wearing, but it's just a very simple theme that still, even if you're not paying attention and saying, oh wow, they're all wearing band shirts, it's still something where like there was some discussion that said, hey, let's make sure, in a way, at least to a person that's kind of slightly on the outside, it just makes it look like you're taking every part of your act just a little more seriously, even if it's just a quick text like, hey, band shirts tonight, guys.
Funny you say that, because it's usually a little bit more than a quick text. It's usually like a
I'm sure it's like usually hours long.
It's like, so what's the look tonight, gang? And then we go off, and then like cue like me stoned at my house. I'm like, what's something funny I could put in the group chat right now? And then I'll just, you know, throw something else in there. You know what I mean? It's just like this revolving thing, and then Billy and Chris veto certain things, and then Fern will be real stern on an idea for a look. What we haven't done yet is the prank where you get one person to do the look, and no one else does the look, which is even the best look, because it's like, you know, they love each other, but they're still like ragging. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a good way to be. Yeah.
You don't rag on people that you don't care about. You do it on people that you really do care about. You know.
Oh, but only the people you care about the most.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I get that.
Mm-hmm. What was your co-host's name again?
That's his name, Matt Dubrow.
Matt Dubrow.
Matt Dubrow. Joe, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Do you want to record an album last weekend?
Maybe. Let me check my future past schedule. If that makes sense. Oh, did you get that I was trying to camouflage in the couch? That's why I wore this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it off now because I'm sweating profusely up here, but
take it off.
I'm taking
it off.
Yep. It's coming off.
Anyway. This is some riveting television right here.
No,
I know.
This is better.
This is what they call good TV.
This is like whenever you do the Zoom and there's just silence, but instead it's just Joey awkwardly taking this off.
I was going to pretend to throw it out of frame, but just throw it in. Okay.
That's what
yeah. I got to throw it. Oh!
Hey!
Landed it right on the keyboard.
Keyboard solo.
Yep.
Hello?
Sorry, Alpha Rabbit. Didn't see your keyboard there.
Hello.
Your album came out last year, Splendorson. Thank you, Matt. What was the timeline from we're a band to we open the box and hey, here's our record?
That's it. Timeline was about like 3 weeks or so. I'd say, yeah.
It's only the best for the audience.
About 3 weeks.
Really?
About 3 weeks, I'd say. Can you guys see that I'm sweating now? Oh, the giggle fits.
It was not 3 weeks, Joey.
It definitely wasn't 3 weeks.
No, from when we started
playing. Because you were performing as Splendorson for a little while.
We didn't cut the record with the drummer that was playing in Splendorson. We had 2 different drummers in Splendorson. I was kind of shopping around to find someone that would be a good fit and had time to commit.
Yeah.
But when I'd met with Billy, it must have been February.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably February.
And we started tracking in April, maybe
something
March,
like that.
Late March. It really wasn't a long time. I'd say about.
Like it was inside of a year, though, from
oh, no doubt,
the conception of the band to the release of the record.
Yes. Well, I mean, it helped out a lot. Is I had no group, and spent about maybe like a year just kind of writing in my room, like the headphone jams, late night, writing songs. And I had this collection, and that's what I kind of, previous groups kind of falling apart. I wanted to start just a rock group, like rock and roll, and that's something I always really enjoyed, kind of cultivating the 90s and classic rock and just, so having the tunes together really kind of jump-started that. So we had content out the bat,
Okay, so you weren't necessarily writing an album's worth. I'm not saying you weren't writing anything, but you didn't need to be like, oh, well, we need 8 to 12 songs to put out something decent here, because you already had.
I had a stockpile, and that's why initially it was Splendorson, because play on my last name.
Yes.
Which is
Henderson.
Yeah. And so that was it was fun, but I don't know. I didn't want to be the sole writer, the sole fronting, like everything that in a group, because I feel like you end up having yourself in a scenario where people feel like they're just maybe just working for you, and there's no team, not as much of a team effort.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that Chris also plays guitar and writes. Mm-hmm. Billy, we still got to get him on some vocals, but I know he wants to sing, and he, obviously writes all of his own drum parts. And Fern is an amazing writer and singer as well. So
too, like really underrated arranger, I find, with
just
him.
All around, just everything music. So like to bottle that talent into just just my songs and these guys are backing me up is like I felt like it was just a waste.
Yeah. Now, how is there, because with that talent, and maybe it's just a function of most everybody else kind of has other things, and even you too. You play with other people, even though the Burns are the band that you essentially are the front person of. Do you think that sort of helps give everybody the room that they feel they may need in the Burns to kind of get their opinions in, get their 2 cents in without ever sort of bottlenecking the process?
I'd say we're like halfway decent at communication, right?
What?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that even sometimes, it's getting to the point where the look, you can read a look of a person, and they don't have to say anything for you to understand like certain decisions. We have this whole thing about vetoing.
Okay.
So if it's supposed to be once a year, but lately some people have been getting like once a month. Certain people in the band has nothing to do with where I'm pointing my thumbs get more than veto all the time. But it kind of keeps, if someone wants, we don't want to do that, or everyone wants to do that, but someone is really not for that, then they can pull out their veto, and we just have to run with it, and then we just talk shit about Chris,
That's surprisingly similar to what we do here on the show.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That checks out.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So,
How do you guys not sweat up
What
here
do
all the
you-
time? Sorry, I know this is supposed to be asking questions. I'm like over here like,
They powder us up pretty good.
Yeah, we got a great makeup person.
Does the powder help absorb the sweat?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and eventually it just kind of cakes and it does the cake and flake. You know,
Cake and flake?
Cake and flake. Yeah.
Snack for later?
I mean, if you're into that thing, yeah, sure.
It's
So,
fun.
what does it take to earn the type of respect from your peers that it seems the Burns have earned, especially, so quickly?
I'd say we're just all sociable gents, right?
Yeah, I mean,
We go to a lot of, like, I'm normally will be going to a local show over a national act show. So if I have a night off, I will go, see a friend perform. And I work at the Saint. So I got a chance to meet, so many and work with so many local musicians there, and just friends and everyone in the music and live music community in Asbury Park and surrounding areas. It's something I want to be engulfed with, so I got myself engulfed in it, and I think everyone else, I can speak for everyone else when I say they did too, and it's been really kind to us,
Excellent. And you've got some new things starting to come out, some new material. You had the Wolves music video. You get the new single, "Hard on You."
Yep.
And I know you guys are shooting another. You put out another video. Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
Put out, okay, yes.
Yes.
So then you put out a second video, and now you're recording the next record or EP.
EP-card.
Okay.
Is that a thing? Is that
so
allowed?
what you're saying is more than 4 or 5 tracks, less than like 9 or 10?
Solid 7.
Excellent.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't really know where to categorize that.
Mini
but,
LP.
I guess so. It's just, we have more songs in the works too, but we were going to do the whole full length thing, but we decided to take the time, really hone in the songs we've been playing and lay them down, in the studio. And we've been working at Cedar Sounds at Firehouse Studios with our boy Tim Pinella, Timbo Slice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Mr. T,
Excellent.
He's the dude.
That's it. So
That's all I got for that.
That's how that thought ended.
That's just my brain just ended.
So let's take it
Joey
to
just took a quick nap.
For our last kind of line of questions here. Let's take it to just you for a little bit. So you're at the Stone Pony for the Asbury Music Awards about 2 weeks ago, and you were there.
I was there.
They're reading the nominees off for Best Multi-Instrumentalist.
Oh, this story.
And
this up right now.
And the winner is Joey Henderson.
Oh.
So what's going through your mind when they're...
I was in the back eating pizza.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I had no idea for about 2 hours that I had won. And nobody said anything. Nobody was like, dude, they called your name. You weren't around. I found out after our set. Yo, somebody was trying to walk away with your trophy. I was like, what trophy?
It was me. I was trying to steal his trophy.
Of course you were.
I was going to blackmail him.
Because you're a
with
pretty good multi-instrumentalist, too.
it. Am I?
Yeah.
I can
I'd say so.
I can play
Bass.
and I can play with Joey's heart.
He plays it
Thank you
so
for the
well.
pity laugh.
It's okay. I'll write a song about you.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember that time?
Yeah, there was that one time. Yeah. I know.
So, serious question about the music awards. We don't have to go super deep, but as a and now a winner of one of these awards, and as a person who works at the Saint fairly regularly, and even as the leader of one of the more audience-friendly bands in the scene, what kind of voice do you think you may have in helping to make the Asbury Awards more inclusive going forward? Because everybody shows up to it, but that seems to kind of be the one thing, is that there are still some, it's a positive event, but there are still some things that could be improved.
The biggest issue with throwing an awards celebration for anything is being the voice of who is who is getting nominated, how is the whole thing being orchestrated. You basically have to gather all the information that you've seen and essentially make a decision. Mm-hmm. And I think that the best way to do it would to be, get a few more music community members involved in the process, which I think would help a lot. But it's a difficult thing, and I understand the backlash that came with this year, and it was very upsetting for me because I feel like there's like this hidden martyr that's getting like totally destroyed for hosting these acts all year, and then totally getting ripped on for not being totally inclusive in the awards, which is just kind of a shame in my eyes. But I think overall, I think the correct adjustments are being made. Hip hop should have its own category. There should be categories, I think, outside of just the music itself, for like recording studios. They have live sound engineers, but there's a lot of things that can be added, but then you start doing that, and then you can do this, and then that's when it sucks, because you have to be kind of not necessarily exclusive, but
that's why, maybe to your point, like getting a few more people involved could also mean a few more moderating voices. Yeah.
And it's just really, at the end of the day, it's just a big party at the Pony. Yeah. And it's great. It's a really good time, and I can't thank the awards and just the scene enough, for multi-instrumentalist. I take piano and guitar very seriously, and I love playing both, and multiple projects and such. So
and certainly deserving of such an honor.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. We're going to hear a couple of your original songs in a few minutes.
All right, sounds good to me. Thanks, Brian.
Joey Henderson, everybody.
Hi, thanks. I'm Krista Brown.
Rochelle, please. One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you by Mr. Pizza Slice. Rochelle Goldman, ladies and gentlemen. Owner of the Long Boy. We're not talking about me. Mr. Pizza Slice, a Red Bank institution with a new vibe. For over 45 years, Steve operated Mr. Pizza Slice on Monmouth Street in Red Bank. The new owners have 100% kept the original pizza called Steve's Original Pie, as well as the signature Italian hot dogs, my nickname for Brian, and French fries, Brian's nickname for me.
Yeah.
New additions include pizza with various toppings that can be ordered by the slice, hot and cold sandwiches, and smaller appetizer dishes, our nickname for Joey Henderson. They've kept a lot of Steve's feeling here, and the classic video game machines, added delivery service, longer hours, and Sunday hours. Mr. Pizza Slice. It's pizza by the slice. That's not their slogan. They asked me to stop saying that. Brian!
Let's bring in an instrument shifting power trio just getting ready to record their second EP. Release? Well, just come on out. Alpha Rabbit, everybody. Let's bring him out.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here.
Thank you. Jamie, of course, welcome. Sir.
Oh, my.
Mr. Dim.
Hey, how are you?
Quite well. Welcome, guys. What's going on? Jamie, welcome back.
Thank you.
That's good. I'm glad there's room on the couch. When you were here last, Jamie, you were standing behind. You were standing up behind the couch.
Yeah, and then I constantly knock those CDs over.
They all deserve. They all deserve to be, especially that one on the top. Definitely deserves to be knocked over. Go ahead, just get it out of there. Excellent. It's good TV, everybody. Good TV. So kind of like Joey's band, the Burns, you guys are all, either late of or involved in other projects. For the most part, where'd you all come from? What other projects did this sort of stem from?
Well, we were high school sweethearts, and we all went to the prom together.
Yeah, the three of us.
Hey,
Very
man.
progressive.
Our outfits still fit.
Yeah,
it's just
Yeah.
I was gonna say the prom. That was not this most recent prom, was it?
No, we didn't win the Battle of the Bands either. So.
Oh man, San Dimas High Battle of the Bands, right?
So we weren't. Yeah, Wild Stallions
You
won
lost
that
to
one.
Wild Stallions. Yeah. Well, when they played a cover of "God Gave Rock and Roll to You" by Kiss, what do you can't really argue with that.
We got some work to do.
Yeah, you really do.
I know.
You really should keep writing songs.
We really shouldn't release this new album.
No, you
Available
should.
at the end of this week.
You should. Is it at the end of this week? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we go on
so
tour.
the timing's really good.
Yes,
then.
it's very
You're
very
welcome.
timely. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was all planned. We talked to your producer about it, and we knew at the time.
They don't tell me, and this network doesn't tell me anything. No, well, that's really great, though. This is perfect. I'm really happy we had you on at such an opportune moment because we booked this like months ago.
Oh.
So thank you for thinking of us.
Well, thank you for having
With
us.
this. So, but really, yeah. So this all, like, I apologize because Jake, I'm not really sure where. Like, this is, I believe, where I first sort of met you and heard of
Correct.
you. But obviously, you know, Dim, you're from the band Hana Lee, and Jamie, Miko Brando, and also late of the Timid Roosevelts.
Yes.
So what brought this together?
Well, like everything in modern society, we were brought together by Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair, though.
No, well, kind of, because Dim's not that good at Facebook. I mean, you're not bad at Facebook,
I'm terrible at it.
but he's not good at it either.
I'd rather talk to you.
No, the way
You're
that
a
we
real
communicate.
You're either a face-to-face guy or, you know, suddenly I noticed that one of my photos from like 2009 has been liked.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, Dim's creeping my Facebook again.
Retroactive.
Like, that's-
Yeah, once again. Can't help it.
We got together because Jamie had posted on Facebook something like, "Doesn't anyone play folk punk?"
No, I said, I'm really into sarcastic folk rock and I want to find people who feel the same way about it. And
Ta-da!
Jim Gordon's like, sarcastic folk rock? Jake Foy, you need to meet this girl.
Wow. So that's very like Frank Black-esque. You know, what did he say when they met Kim Deal was like, I'm looking for someone who likes Husker Du and Peter, Paul, and Mary. Like that's their sort of legend. So that seems about right. Like someone that likes sarcastic folk rock. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I was trying to create a new genre, trailer park reggae. And,
That didn't really take off, though.
No,
did
but
it?
I
It's a
but
work
the
in progress.
sarcastic, the sarcastic folk, I said, okay, well, there's something there. And,
Okay.
And we tried our combined genre for about a practice before we realized
We're genre neutral.
we need
Yeah,
help.
we're genre neutral.
Well, that's a good way to be in 2018. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of it's always important to stay ahead of that curve.
We're the first genre neutral band. There's
Ever.
no one. Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I think it's really. I think, in all seriousness, what you three do together is starting to kind of, catch some eyes of, different promoters, different venues, and things like that. I mean, you're based.
I don't know. What do
in-
you guys think? Thank you.
All right.
All right.
No, but you guys are playing. Around, like you guys are playing, and obviously in and around Trenton and stuff. You're expanding out to like here in New Brunswick and up north a little bit and stuff. And I believe Two Guys One Review called your last EP the true hidden gem of 2017, and you among the best bands in the Trenton music scene. So there is some kind of traction, both like, on the road and in the press.
We're certainly playing a lot more. I think it was more of a conscious decision not to be that hidden gem.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, because we don't have to seek shows out; they seek us, which is pretty cool. Yeah. It's a nice.
I guess we're doing something.
Yeah,
right?
we must be doing something right. We
I don't know
getting
what.
show offers.
So, what came first, the songs or the idea to switch instruments
I'd say the songs.
between these songs? Like, how did that
Yeah.
happen?
Oh, it was definitely the songs. I mean, what's fortunate about having the three of us multi-instrumentalists and also having some background in music, we all kind of came with songs.
Okay.
So,
And they all fit really well together, though. It sounds like it's all it doesn't sound like three songwriters. It sounds like one band.
well, and we've definitely influenced each other, probably
Yeah.
more and more to our own benefit or demise, depending on how you look at it. But we've melded together after some time. But it was really months in that we were playing. The multi-instrumental nature came first before the switching, because we just had a necessity. Every time we had a song, we'd say, What do you want to play? I don't know. Well,
Like,
look at the
I don't know
drums.
how to play the guitar on this one, but I can play drums on this one, or I don't know how to do that, but here, let me do this, and then it kind of became I don't know that part, but I know this part, so let me do this one, and you do that.
Did anybody have to learn a new instrument that they hadn't played before?
Yeah, I learned how to play bass.
Okay.
For this band.
Drums.
And you learn how to play drums.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes so naturally. And I sort of look at it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to me it appears, and maybe this is usually just because this is how you usually start your shows, to me it seems like you are the primary guitarist, you are the primary bassist, and you are the primary drummer, even though you seem to switch that up pretty evenly. Maybe that's just because that's how you tend to start the shows.
It shakes down that way a lot, and I think it's kind of too.
And that's not to say, like, because Jake, like, you're a dynamite keyboardist and guitarist, and Jamie, you're a great drummer, and everybody is really like pretty much equally proficient at all of these instruments.
You get pigeonholed in this industry, Brian, and if you play
the
part
biz really
real
got
well,
you guys.
Then you're kind of stuck with that typecast.
That typecast,
yeah. It's a big issue.
Well, part of what we when we write new songs is we ask ourselves, like, because we always want. You always want to serve the song. You always want it to be, what does the song need? And it's sometimes it's tough because it's like. We'll go back to the guitar, bass, and drums, and it's like, while it'd be nice to do a switch because we haven't done one at the same time, for this particular song, this is what feels right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just whenever we start a new song, it's like, what's going to feel right for this piece.
Okay. Now, how do you keep that all organized? Because on a local level, you could play, essentially like the Mill Hill, which is basically the corner of a basement. Or you could play Brighton Bar like you did last week, which is, kind of a more bar-style venue with a proper stage. How do you keep this switching, organized, even just kind of physically on stage, so that nobody's tripping over things or other people?
Well, it didn't always start out that way.
Okay.
You adapt to the situation. You play enough shows, and you take a stock of what instruments, what equipment you have, and as far I can speak for myself, maybe that these two, but I think the three of us can adapt very well, just being somewhat proficient musicians. You know what you're going to go for. You know what it should sound like, and we all know where our spots are on stage.
You have to be comfortable in tight spaces.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's really have to be comfortable in tight spaces. And whenever we set up the drum kit, you just need to leave an alley, or just be prepared
That's
to
always the big question.
really. You
Right.
have to do some really close passes where you just kind of press against each other while you're going to the next
Right.
instrument. It's
So if your kids at home are planning on switching instruments, what you need is to figure out what side you're exiting the drums.
That's the key.
And then you build your stations around that. We think in terms of stations. So
Okay.
Keyboard station, bass
That's like a very
station, guitar
theatrical
station.
way to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's
in a
all
way.
about the drums. That's where you have to. That's your hardest instrument to get in and out of.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's smart. That's a smart way to do it. We've talked, Jamie, when we had Miko Brando on, we talked a little bit about, Trenton and, the city a little bit, and how the music scene has sort of ebbed and flowed really over the last few decades. And it seems like it's definitely kind of on its way back, in. What does Alpha Rabbit bring to Trenton that is new?
I think it's a lot of things that we bring to a lot of places. I certainly love how the band came about in the era of psychedelic, and they weren't. I love how Talking Heads came about in the era of punk, and they weren't.
Yeah.
And you can go down the line, Devo,
Yeah.
and I'd like to, or Pixies, for that matter.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something different, something that's not straightforward punk rock, but at the same time, it's hopefully not too, dare I say, pretentious, but at the same time, it is nice to pretend.
Yeah. Wow.
So you give it something different, make it interesting, or at least try to. And if you crash and burn, that's still interesting. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Always, And I think that your shows certainly don't lack for interest and both musically and kind of visually as the three of you kind of move around between songs.
Well, the visual is actually Miss Jamie,
Yeah.
Big
And
on,
even aesthetically, like look at the three of you right now. Like this is really like look at you guys.
We can
Yeah.
communicate this. This
great.
was all natural.
This is how we dress
This was all
normally.
natural.
So you guys, this is kind of like what the Burns should really take notice.
It's a fishnet.
They don't communicate this. They just show up. They woke up like this.
Yeah.
Joey.
Hi.
Hey, take note. Take note.
Me, I couldn't tell.
I'm saying take notice of this lovely wardrobe sync up here.
Thank you.
So, do you find that I don't want to use the word novelty because it's not. What you guys do? It's not I don't want to say like it's not like Tiny Tim, like a novelty act. But do you find the novel nature of your band? Do you find that helps you in terms of like you said, Jay, like you guys haven't been around that long, but yet you're not really reaching out to places. Places are reaching out to you. Do you find the sort of novel nature of your act one of the big selling points as far as getting you into places?
I think people like things that are different. I mean, anytime you have something that's different, there's a little bit of intrigue there. So anything that you can kind of do to set yourself apart and still be truthful and honest. Like you don't want to make it so ridiculous that you feel uncomfortable necessarily, but you want to be true to yourself, true to the songs, true to what's needed, but at the same time think about, is there a way that you can kind of set yourself apart a little bit?
Yeah, there's not much on it is novel. I agree. I think it's a good thing to set yourself apart. It becomes a gimmick when you rely on it. And I don't think we rely on that.
No, if I may, I think you rely on the material. To your point earlier too, Jake, when you said it's, songs come first.
Right.
And there's only so many occasions where you can wear a dress like this. So, like when you're in a band.
Yeah, may as well. Well, like you said,
like...
maintain that sort of theatrical aspect to it as well. Now, my last question is, as sort of scene veterans, having played in or still playing in a multitude of different projects, what's the move here, guys? Like, what's it going to take to get this project maybe just a few steps ahead of other sort of things that you've done before, or is that the goal? Like what's the move for the three of you as a unit?
The goal is to go all in with it. I mean, we want to see more theatrics. We want to push ourselves. We want to see if instead of 3 people playing 4 instruments, maybe we can play 7.
Okay.
We want to switch instruments in the middle of a song seamlessly.
I want to toss the sticks and be juggling a little bit. I want like Cirque du Soleil-ish a little tiny bit, but that's like contortionism. But juggling parts.
Yeah.
We'll bring in live animals. And the live animals are gonna.
They're also gonna play
animals.
the instruments in rhythm. That's the vision.
Well, it sounds like we've got some big things to look forward to.
I mean, we're talking next level, man.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Big animals. They're gonna be
Big.
Like elephants.
So we're gonna see some animal-less performance here in just a few minutes.
Oh yes, 3 animals.
Yeah, well, close enough then.
All right.
But thank you for hanging on the couch for a little bit. Alpha Rabbit, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to do the ad read.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we're
Do
gonna.
you need this?
Yeah, sure. I'll make do.
Hey.
Hey everyone, how's it going? One More with Brian Erickson is brought to you live from Monmouth Music in Red Bank. Established in 1987, Monmouth Music is located at the center of historic Red Bank, New Jersey, voted 3rd best town in the United States by Smithsonian Magazine. Brian, do you know what number 1 is?
Rome, Italy.
Stanton, Virginia. They're located within walking distance of the famed Count Basie Theater, a Red Bank train station, and many fine eateries. Monmouth Music continues the tradition of being a destination store for all levels of musicians, both beginner and professional. New owner, Mario DiPortolo. Hey, Mario. Offers a wide selection of brand name instruments at everyday low prices, both new and used, with personal, professional, and expert service only a family-owned and operated store can provide. Hey, Joey, does the neck on your guitar or banjo need repairing?
You forgot to read that top one.
Oh, have the ivories on your piano been adequately tickled? Do the valves on your saxophone need to be refitted? Regardless of what day it is, bring your instrument to Mount Music for quality repairs. You'll enjoy.
Hold on, slow down. You're really tensing up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been a busy day for me, man. You'll enjoy prompt service from a team of repairmen who are always available. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the owner of the couch, my friendo, till the endo, Joey Henderson. Take it, Joey.
That was great.
Thanks.
Should I play?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. This song is about the couch. No, it's not. He in the morning get some coffee, just the way you like. I'm riding high on some energy that I felt on the couch last night. A couple days go by and something just ain't right. If I asked, you'd probably say I'm fine. The commandment coming crashing like a social interaction, and love's not my forte. And I act old-fashioned, overbearing with compassion, 'cause it gave me the time of day. But he's still on your mind, and you got weight tugging on your line. And I'm never gonna make this hard on you, so I'm gonna let it slip right through. And I never meant to push this all on you. It just felt too good to be true. All right, everybody, picture a guitar solo in your head. Woo! Oh yeah, you guys hear that? Wow! Oh, it sounds so good. Oh yeah, ripping. It's all Matt Fernicola. Here's the fun part. 'Cause I'm broke, I smoke, I drink to cope with the pain. And I hope that jokes would get you roped. And I've never been to the saint, but I'm glad, oh, you told the truth. And I'll get off of your cooch. Well, and I'm never gonna make this hard on you, so I'm gonna let it slip right through. And I never meant to push this on you. It just felt too good to be true. Chris, would you help me out here? I wanna treat you right, not now, some other time. I wanna hold your line, not now, some other time. I wanna change your mind, not now, some other time. I wanna make your mind, not now, some other time. If not now, some other time. If not now, some other time. If not now, some other time. Thanks, Chris. Something like that. Thanks, gang. For my next number, I'm going to sing a song off of our first record. That was, previous song was called Hard on You. It's a single we just put out. It's going to be on the next EP thing. This is called Stranger off Henderson. think you know me, but I'm a stranger. Yeah, I hear lying all the time. I think that you're in danger of losing all your mind. You like to think that you're my savior. Well, we both know that ain't true. It sounds like there's a danger of coming all unglued. And I know the time is right to lock the door and say goodbye. This is another guitar solo that's going on right now that you guys aren't gonna hear. You said I should watch my behavior. Well, God's watching my every move. It sounds like there's a major bill that's overdue. You like to think that all your hate trail, well, it really ain't no sin. I just waste your life to die, praying at them pearly gates of open. And I know the time is right to lock the door and say goodbye. Brian, you guys are good. Don't live your life waiting to die. Don't let your life pass you by. Don't push your thoughts into my mind. Don't waste your time for the pie in the sky. Don't live your life waiting to die. Don't let your life pass you by. Don't push your thoughts into my mind. Don't waste your time for the pie in the sky. 'Cause the time is right to lock the door and say goodnight. All right. Thank you guys so much for having me. Name of the band is The Bums. Check us out on all social media platforms at thebumsmusic.nj.com. Did I do that? Did I do that right?
Perfect.
Okay,
Joey
cool.
Henderson,
Thank you, Chris.
formerly of the Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, we just fired him. All right, Alpha Rabbit, you can set up around me. I want chaos to happen during all this. Okay, this week in events. Tuesday, April 24th, the Downtown, Bobby Mahoney, Colton Kaiser, and our very own lovely Jesse McCormick. That starts at 8 p.m. That's downtown in Red Bank. AP Brewery, Hot Blood, Les Fraps, I hope I did that right, and Yum Yuckers, that's at 7 p.m. And of course, the Brittany on Fire Sessions open mic at Meatballs and Brews in Rahway, Hank and Brendan from North Carolina, that's at 8 p.m. Wednesday, April 25th, at the Asbury Hotel, Deidre Forrest, Matt Responti, Pam Flores, and Hank and Brendan at 8 p.m. And the Downtown, Tara Dente, Dave Mooney, and my brother Matthew Brow, that's at 8 p.m. in Red Bank. Thursday, April 26th, the Harp and Bard, Finding Phoebus, The Angry Pirates, Quentin Smith and the Company, and for the third night in a row, the aforementioned Hank and Brendan. That's at 7:30 p.m. I just lost my place. Oh, the Downtown Local Showcase with Cranston Dean, We're Ghosts Now, and The Burns. Check them out. They're a bunch of idiots. Friday, April 27th. Happy birthday, Billy McCabe, our drummer. Fox Hollow Vineyards, Homedale, Dan Amato and the Sentimental Gentleman, and Nicole Govel. Gold Sounds of Brooklyn, Lindsay Marie Presents, Michael Golden and the Outsiders, Ruby Bones, The Dead Flower, The Fuzz, and Edna, 7 p.m. Barnes & Noble in Eatontown, I used to work there. Chris Rockwell will host Coffee House Night, an evening of poetry, music, and spoken word. Celebrated poet activist Alicia Cook will be doing a book signing, and the very own, the lovely Tara Dente will be the featured musical guest, 7 p.m. sharp. The Meat Locker, Foxfires, The Value Surprise of the Century, Grave Arc, that's at 8 p.m.
Chris, could you we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where was I? The Wonder Bar, Dentist, Beams, and Shark Muffin, that's at 8 p.m.
I said we can't hear
AP
you.
Brewery, Mikita, what? Jankfoot, Baron Praxis, This Year's Comeback, 7 p.m. Mount Moon in New Brunswick, Leeds, Triple Goddess, The Stonewall Vessels, and Illusionists at 8 p.m. Clancy's Tavern in Neptune, Renee Maskin of the band Low Light at 9 p.m. And at Salisbury Hotel, we have Ernest, Lauren Patty, and Colton Kaiser. That is at 9 p.m. Saturday, April 28th in the afternoon at the Danny Clinch Gallery. Transparent, we have The Idea Men, Rachel Anna Dobkin, and the High Anxiety Blues Band, and special guests. That's at 1 p.m. AP Brewery, Stag Party, Cowards, Executor, Kill, Crush, Destroy at 7 p.m. Paul's Tavern in Lake Como, The Foes of Fern, The Double Negatives, My Brother's Band, Matthew Brown the Captives, and our very own Brian Erickson and the aptly named The Extensions at 7 p.m. I get it. Sunday, April 29th, AP Brewery, Shellshag, Ear, Swamp City Rockers, and Lions at 7 p.m. And at 1 p.m. at Palette Gallery in Asbury, we have the lovely Emily Grove, Tara Dente, and Joseph Alton Miller. I am so out of breath. Ladies and gentlemen, I think they're almost ready. Please give it up for Alpha Rabbit.
Thank you, Brian Erickson, for having us.
For peaceful satisfaction, teeth clear, false teeth. I stood forth, I never really meant to. I took a stand. I'm going home. I'm going home. I'm going home.
based on false beliefs. Not very accurate, one-dimensionally. Where did I learn this? Was it always a part of me? I walked through the woods, and the deer ran away from me. As if I should have understood, I violated their trust. Centuries ago, the carving we're made of, it remains the same. Our atoms keep changing, but we came from stardust.
It will run your life. You are so short.
Floodlights bathe me.
Lost your
It's all ones and zeros.
sound.
You never get clean. The rabbits sleep with one eye open. They keep watch over me. Habits destroy us. Live like machines. Thank you.
Where's everybody else? That was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good job, guys. Which camera are we looking into? That one? Oh, two? Joey. Chris. Because we're all high fiving. That's it. That's it. Oh no, Jamie, don't leave. Don't leave. This is the outro part.
This is the part of Saturday Night Live where we film the crowd.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Everybody, wait for the crowd, wait for the crowd.
Christian Brow, Jake, Joey, Jamie, and Dim. From everyone here at Monmouth Music, I am Brian Erickson. This is One More. We'll see you next week.
Next week. Spring break.